Welcome in ESPN college football insider, BYU national champion Trevor Matich for another Matich Monday on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Trevor, welcome back to the program. We've been discussing this morning, what's the bigger loss, BYU to Toledo or Zach Wilson out at quarterback?
Well, I think Zach Wilson being out is a real problem. The loss to Toledo was foreseeable, but we don't know how long Wilson will be out. And not only do they lose his presence on the field for any games that he misses, they interrupt his development because he has been a terrific gamer, a guy who is a really good thrower, a baller, but the development at the craft of quarterbacking is a perishable thing. And being interrupted now is not good.
He's certainly had his moments, and so has the BYU offense, yet BYU is 25th worst in scoring, 90th in total offense, 10th worst in rushing offense. Passing's been fine at 39th. Granted, BYU's trailed in some games and had some openings there. But what do you have to say about the BYU offense and kind of where they can go? Because it's certainly not been numerically what they've wanted up to this point.
Yeah, I don't know that we can get a fair evaluation of the offense yet. I think after the bye, when they go to South Florida, they'll have a better opportunity to show what they can be, especially in the running game, because of the schedule. I mean, Utah has the deepest defensive line in the nation and one of the best in the nation. It's very few people are going to be able to run the ball on them. Tennessee is an SEC team on their home field, and BYU had to deal with the 100,000 people or so in those stands, make it so they couldn't hear the snap count and fire off the ball. USC has got some NFL guys on their D-line, and Washington's even better than that. So I think when you have those games and then bring it into a Toledo game where you're kind of beat up from all that, it's kind of hard to say how good this offense can really be. I think once they get a week of rest, we'll be able to evaluate it more. So, I'm encouraged by the possibilities. I think they've done some good things. I think execution needs to be better in several areas. But once they get in now the middle third of the season, I'm very interested to see how they'll perform with fresh legs.
Trevor, the wheel of accountability is always an interesting conversation. So who takes the majority of the accountability of why BYU lost this game, in your opinion?
I think really Utah, Tennessee, Washington, USC. I don't want to make excuses here, but BYU doesn't have the depth of Power 5 teams when they play on that level. It's not BYU's fault. It's the nature of recruiting. They're able to get really good starters, but Power 5 schools, by the nature of where they play, are able to recruit more of those guys and have better depth. That means in practice as well as in games, that they're able to give some of their guys a little bit of rest. And no other team in the nation faced 4 Power 5 schools like BYU did to start the year, certainly not 4 of the caliber that BYU played. And so when you combine those two things, you get to Toledo, at Toledo, against a very, very good offense, a team that a lot of people are picking to win the MAC. And I don't think we saw BYU at their full capability. I think they gave everything they had. I just don't think they had as much to give as they would have had they played them in the second or even third week of the season in the midst of that Power 5 run. That's why I'm saying that you evaluate 3 things. You evaluate effort, you evaluate execution, and you evaluate effectiveness. And I think in the effort it was there. I think the execution and the effectiveness were eventually a casualty, especially at the end of having this game be too close because they weren't able to pull away.
Trevor, is it as simple as BYU wins this game if Tyson Williams is playing for the Cougars?
It might be, but at the same time, BYU probably wins this game if they can make a field goal, 40-yard field goal. They had a couple of them, a 39 and a 42 that they missed, and I don't want to blame the kicker, but you can point to a lot of individual plays that you could say, hey, that there was the problem. I mean, what would have happened if they would have gotten a few more third down conversions, especially on third and short? There are a lot of plays that could have swung this thing. But when you're not converting on third and short too often, very often that's because of tired legs. That's dead legs. And these are things that, I think it's, as I watched that game, I was frustrated by the effectiveness, but I knew what they were going through from a standpoint of their physical state, and I thought that they fought hard.
No doubt BYU has had tremendous effort, has won a couple games in overtime, made some winning plays there. If you look at the means, BYU's like this close from being 0-5, but are not, which is the good news. Yet we look at that schedule, Trevor, and yes, BYU doesn't have the depth and can't overcome that in injury. Isn't it predictable, though, and as an independent, that BYU could schedule in a way to challenge itself but not over-challenge itself, perhaps? Because it appears that BYU has over-challenged itself just a touch. If BYU had either a bye week or a group of 5 sandwich between those first 4, perhaps BYU would have had more depth and more legs. I don't know how you feel about it.
Well, it is definitely a difficult schedule. And if they want to get to where they want to be, they have to play that schedule and then win, because that will attract more recruits at a higher level. And really, that's the way you get recruits to a place like BYU that's not Power 5. In other words, in high enough quantity that you can rotate that depth through like a Power 5 school can. You've got to schedule that way, and then you've got to win. And when you win a few of them, then you start to attract another couple of guys that maybe you wouldn't have gotten before. Those guys help you win another one of those kinds of games. That brings in another 1 or 2 or 3 recruits that you might not have gotten before. And it's kind of a building process in that way. ESPN. And so I think, well, let me just finish this, that if BYU, the fact that they beat USC and they beat Tennessee, I think that helps, and I think that helps to put them on that kind of a trajectory, because now BYU will be able to take recruits that are looking at Power 5 schools and say, look, we play a bunch of Power 5 schools. You can play a lot of Power 5 schools here. You can get to the NFL from here because they will see you perform against top competition, and you have all the other advantages of BYU. So, you know, it is true that it's really hard to get over that hump when you've got this kind of a schedule, but at the same time, you've got the opportunity there that once you do get over the hump, then you can go to really good places.
ESPN's Trevor Matich with us on BYU Sports Nation. Well, the quarterback depth is going to be tested for BYU, and here comes Jaren Hall in 2 weeks for a game against a South Florida team that, quite frankly, just doesn't look very good. Like, not at all, Trevor. So what do you expect from BYU and specifically Jaren Hall when they go to Tampa and take on a down South Florida team in a couple of weeks?
I thought Jaren Hall was impressive in that last drive. You know, he was a backup that came in and the most pressure-filled situation, and he got the team in position to be throwing the ball at or near the end zone at the end. So I thought he completed 3 nice passes, and that's good. I love it that, you know, he's a center fielder in baseball, because those guys tend to have live arms, and he showed he has a live arm. I think, though, that the game won't rely on his live arm in South Florida. I think with a week of rest, I think that BYU's offensive line will be able to assert themselves. And I think for the first time all year, you're going to see the potential that we've talked about during the preseason about this offensive line. They believe that they've got 3 guys that will be on NFL rosters in that group, and good depth in that group of offensive linemen. And, you know, they held their own but didn't dominate for those first 4 games. I think they were a little beat down for the Toledo game, but we'll see who they really are against South Florida. And I kind of think BYU will kind of get angry and assert what they've wanted to assert all September but haven't been able to, and that is a physical dominant style.
BYU sitting at 2-3. Certainly the hope is get to, 8+ wins this season. To me, 8 is kind of the sign of it, the minimum threshold of a good team. You win 2/3 of the game, you're good. South Florida, that is a game BYU can win. Boise State, a challenging one. That would be an upset at home, but one that's been pretty evenly matched over the years. Utah State's an interesting one, and then Liberty, Idaho State, and UMass are certainly wins BYU should get. San Diego State, kind of a pick 'em. Do you feel like BYU's pacing for 7 wins, 8+? How do you feel about it?
I think 7 wins would be really good, given the schedule. I think 8+ would be phenomenal. And again, you've got to look at what the schedule shaped up as. Guys, if you were told, looking at that Utah game before the season started, that BYU would finish the first 4 at 2-2, what would you have thought?
Oh,
fantastic!
We were ecstatic. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'd be dancing, you'd be eating green Jell-O in celebration. It would have been fantastic. It'd be just great stuff.
That would happen regardless.
Well, they did finish 2-2. They did finish 2-2, and so I think that alone already puts them in a really positive light. Now, Boise State and Utah State will be their defining games. If they're able to knock off Boise, oh boy, will that be awesome. But if they play them tough and then win at Utah State, still you've got a situation where they have held their own and more than held their own against the best of their schedule, teams that were ranked when they played them. And I think that's important to look at. Right now it feels ugly because a lot of people felt like BYU should have rolled into Toledo and easily pushed around the Rockets. But we talked about that last Monday, that this Toledo team is not a cupcake. And I think that it feels worse than it is right now. And it's important to look at reasons why they lost to Toledo and correct those reasons. But at the same time, there's a lot of positives to build on.
It's another Matich Monday on BYU Sports Nation. Let's finish with this. Alabama, the new #1 team. Clemson was tested at North Carolina. Oklahoma looks unbeatable. Ohio State looks unbeatable. Trevor, who's the best team in the nation right now?
Ohio State. Ohio State. All of those teams have flaws. And all of those teams will be different a month from now based on how they grow through those flaws. But as I look at the tape, and again, not looking at strength of schedule, strength of record, not worshiping at the altar of the almighty spreadsheet and looking at all these different metrics, just looking at what I see on tape right now today, my tape study top 4 are Ohio State #1, then Oklahoma at #2, Auburn #3, yep, and #4, I would say Clemson.
Wow, no Alabama in the top 4.
Not yet, because their running game is not very good, and their defense has too many young guys. I think that Alabama probably would be 5 or 6 right there with Georgia. Now, 4th spot, you can put any of those folks, but 1, 2, and 3 are definitely Ohio State, Oklahoma, and not Alabama, not Georgia, but Auburn at #3.
Trevor, great stuff. We always appreciate the time, and certainly helping BYU fans look towards positive things in Tampa Bay in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot of positive. There really is. And I'm looking forward to this game because we'll see who they really are now after a week of rest.
Thanks, Trevor.
All right, thanks, guys.
Trevor Matich on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how.